Hello YouTube, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. And the date is Tuesday, August 29th, 2017. And the current time is approximately 4 minutes after 10 p.m. That's what I meant to say. So, the vast majority of my videos are of the metaphysical, magical, mystical, and spiritual. But every once in a while, I will do a video that is of a personal nature, meaning that it has to do with the LGBTQIA+ community. And this is one of those such videos. So, the last few years, I have become more comfortable with my inner nerd and inner geek. And I've often said that with my professional schedules, advance notice really is the way for me to attend virtually anything. So 3 years ago, or rather in 2015, which is 2 years ago, I found out about an event called FlameCon. FlameCon is the premier LGBTQ ComicCon for the in New York City. In fact, to my knowledge, it is the only Comic-Con for the LGBTQIA+ community. And I had the honor and pleasure of attending it in its initial year in 2015. I had the honor and pleasure of attending last year, 2016. And I had the honor and pleasure of attending this year in 2017. Now, I will tell you that I have a confession to make. I almost didn't go. My professional psychic practice has been more involved this year, and my side position of employment has become more demanding this year. But, well, I needed to go. I needed to go and have a great time, and I did. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. So, this is the official FlameCon t-shirt for this year's FlameCon, also known as FlameCon2017. It's the same image as this. And FlameCon is sponsored by, among others, Geeks Out. Vanna White has nothing to worry about me, doesn't she? Does she? You know what I mean. So I had a great time, and I write more about this in the blog post that's going to accompany this video. But what I will say is that of all the things that goes on at FlameCon, the thing that I enjoy most are the panel discussions. I mean, yes, there's a lot of cosplay. There are a lot of cosplayers walking around, and I will say that most of them, now I know some of them. Most of them, I'm like, I have no idea who you are, and I know that I walked by several cosplayers, and I'm like, no clue. I was very happy to see a few Wonder Women and a few Wonder Men. I was especially happy to see an Agent Peggy Carter, because Marvel canceled that, well, not Marvel, excuse me. ABC canceled that show. They should not have canceled that show, but that's another story. I saw several other characters, some of them Disney, some of them anime, and I'm still very new to anime. Anime and I are distant acquaintances, but we're becoming bosom buddies. And I know that one of my personal favorite tarot-themed Instagrammers happens to love Howls Moving Castle. And if I said that name incorrectly, I didn't say it incorrectly this time, that's good. Howls Moving Castle. He actually, in his Instagram post about that anime movie, he mentioned its relationship to the Tower card of the Sacred Tarot. Now, it's so funny because when I went to this particular FlameCon, I noticed that the tarot was the furthest thing from my mind, which is so ironic considering that I am the tarot man. But I will tell you that somebody with whom I had the opportunity to engage in one of the activities is working on a geeky themed tarot deck. And I was like, oh my goddess. Oh my goddess. So, anyway, when I hear from her, I'll probably tell you more about that. So, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is other than having a great time, I also forgot that this year is the 20th anniversary of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, of course, I went to the 2 panel discussions about that, including one of my newest favorite podcasts. Are you ready for this? And I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person make sure that I do this correctly. Yes. Buffering the Vampire Slayer. It is a podcast that has to do with, surprise, surprise, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oh, and I must tell you, I was so thrilled. I was so excited. I was so happy. Because I've been a Buffy fan for a long time. And I love this t-shirt. It was funny because, I've had a lot of expenses this year, so I didn't get to go on the shopping spree that I normally go on when I go to FlameCon. But I said to myself, you know what, I'm buying at least one t-shirt, and this was the t-shirt. I had a fantastic time. I'm looking forward to diving into their podcast. And I love the 2 women, the 2 wives, that are the co-creatrices of this podcast. Kristen Russo and her wife, Jenny Owen Youngs. No, it's Jenny... No, I had it right. Jenny Owen Youngs. I did have it right. They will discuss an episode, and then they will write a song. They will co-write a song that Jenny performs about that particular episode. I had a wonderful time listening to Jenny perform. She is so talented. It's funny because, most of Jenny's songs about Buffy the Vampire Slayer are very upbeat and a little campy and very funky. And she had this one song about Angel. I stopped breathing. It was so moving. It was so beautiful. It was like, oh, I mean, I'm starting to feel moved to tears just thinking about it and talking about it because it was that beautiful a song. But her songs are fun. She has a really talented singing voice. She has a really distinct and memorable singing voice. But when she sang these slow ballady songs, I was like, I mean, when you hear a song like that, yeah. So I decided to avail myself of the VIP package this year. And I purchased the tickets almost 3 months in advance because I wanted to make sure I got everything. So the VIP included the t-shirt, this one, included a dinner at a place called Hill Country Barbecue, which is right, it's not even half a block away from the hotel, the Marriott Hotel at the Brooklyn Bridge, where FlameCon has been held 2 years in a row. The very first year was the Grand Prospect Hall in Brooklyn. I gotta tell you something. I remember when I was a little boy, every once in a while I would watch commercials for the Grand Prospect Hall. Never thinking I would ever go. Oh, I gotta link a commercial to the Grand Prospect Hall. It's funny. I mean, it's a really great place. It is a historic landmark in Brooklyn, by the way. So, I want to show you some of the things that I also received. So, because it's called FlameCon, the official celebration party, or rather the official celebration dinner for the VIP ticket holders was called Campfire. Flame, fire, you get the idea. And established 2015. Now, I gotta tell you something. I never knew there was a Pokemon song. And I never knew that there was a song from Steven Universe called Giant Woman. And I never knew there was a song that was part of, I think it's Final Fantasy, Want You Gone. My awesome audiovisual person is much more of a gamer than I am, so, you know. But there was one song that I actually knew about. I didn't even know about the Mona song. So, The Muppets, Rainbow Connection. I won't sing it to you because I'll start crying. Oh. There's something about that song that touches my heart, even just talking about it. Because it just, I couldn't sing on key with everybody. So there were some drag queens at that night too, and I'm just crying because it's a beautiful song. I had a good time. I had a great time. There was brisket. There was collard greens, and there was, well, I'm going to be technical and call it what it was. Penne and cheese, because it was, they're calling it macaroni and cheese, but as somebody that eats pasta virtually every day, I know that it was penne. It was good, by the way. It was really good. And then, you know, for those of you who love margaritas, oh, you would have loved these margaritas. Let me tell you something, I almost never drink margaritas. I don't have anything against them, I just almost never drink alcohol, and the few times that I do, it's either a red wine, or a sparkling wine, or a champagne. You know, every once in a while I'll have a mixed drink, oh, it's a coconut flavored rum called Malibu with orange juice. That's so good. Or I'll have a sex on the beach. But you know, the margaritas there were really good, like almost too good. Like if I'd had a few more glasses, I probably would be like, oh, this is a really good party. Oh, look at the dragon on the ceiling. Yeah, that kind of thing. They were that good. And it's funny because I normally don't go for, you know, the light drinks. You know, I'm more the red wine as opposed to the white wine, you know, except for sparkling wines and champagnes, but that's another story. Anyway, the s'mores cupcakes were really good. Really good. And they also had this butter that was like crack. It was that addicting. It was made with ancho pepper. Those of you that know peppers and hot stuff, you'll probably know what the hell I'm talking about. But it was made with ancho pepper and honey and cinnamon. I could taste the sweetness for sure. But I found out that ancho pepper is super hot, but the heat was, I don't want to say diminished, but it was minimized slightly because of the honey and the cinnamon and the butter. I had a great time. I had a fantastic time. I also enjoyed the Comics Verse live podcast panel discussion, which was the first day along with Buffering the Vampire Slayer. And the second day I enjoyed Buffy at 20, which was another special podcast celebrating the 20th anniversary of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And the other thing I enjoyed about the second day, which was the final day, was that the first 1,000 attendees received this. And look, the FlameCon variant. Very happy about this. For free, by the way. I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to make this a little interactive. So there was an event the second day called speed friending, as opposed to speed dating, and everybody was given an index card with 3 questions. So I'm going to ask you these 3 questions, and even if you're not a member of the LGBTQIA+ community, if you want to answer, feel free. So you can answer one of the 3. Or all 3, that would make me really happy. Question number 1. What was your favorite superhero movie this year? So 2017. Number 2. Name 5 things you couldn't live without. Number 3. What makes you laugh the hardest? So, I'm going to answer these really quickly. So, I only watched the Wonder Woman motion picture starring Gal Gadot a few days ago. But since the beginning of 2017, that was the first and only superhero motion picture I've watched thus far. Number 2, name 5 things you couldn't live without. My divine consort, books, my cats, coffee. I know some of you were like shocked, like, oh my God, he said coffee, I can't believe it. And indoor plumbing. Number 3, what makes you laugh the hardest? One of the things that's been making me laugh the hardest are reruns of The Jeffersons. Yes, The Jeffersons. And Frasier. Reruns of Frasier too. Okay, so YouTube, thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. I wish all of you a beautiful night, a wonderful week, a fantastic weekend, and as always, many blessings, gifts, and miracles. And if you have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel of yours truly, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, you know what to do. And if you have not already subscribed, or I already said that, if you have not already scheduled your reading or your session with Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, yours truly, you know what to do. Thank you and good night.